Hey everyone! On today's video, I'm going to be sharing this beautiful window planter and wooden riser DIY, as well as this adorable sign using inexpensive wood. These are perfect for decorating for fall or any time of the year. So let's get started! For the first project, I'm going to be making a wooden riser to display fall decor on. I'll be using this wood plank which I got at Dollar Tree. I'll also be using some 1-gallon paint stir sticks. I got these at Home Depot. They came in a pack of 10 for about $1.48. And I'm going to be using 6 of these. I'll be trimming 4 of these just right before the curved handles, so about 9 inches. And the rest I'm going to cut them so that I have 4 at 3.5 inches. And I just used a miter box and saw to do that. Once trimmed, I'm going to paint the paint sticks using Hello Hobby chalk paint and staining the wood with Minwax weathered oak. So I apply the stain all over the wood using a cloth. You can certainly paint or stain it any color you want. I did want to keep the wood light to show off the wood patterns underneath, but still have some color to it. After staining, I make sure to wipe off the excess. I paint the paint sticks in the shade Olive Oil from Hello Hobby. On the longer wood, I paint the top as well as the small ends. The bottom sides will not be seen, and I leave the sides unpainted since I will be applying glue on that area. I want it to be opaque, so I paint it a couple of coats. I'm going to glue these to make a rectangle, so I apply glue on one side of the paint stick and adhere that to another side of an equal size. I will be using 4 tumbling tower blocks for structural support. So I apply glue on one side of the block and I place that on one corner of a small rectangle. And I make sure it's right on the edge. Then I apply glue on another block and place that on the opposite end. And I glue the larger rectangle right on that edge. I use a carpenter square to make sure it's a 90-degree angle. And then I glue the other long rectangle on the opposite side. Finally, I apply glue on the sides of the last remaining rectangle. And I glue the blocks in the inner corners. And then I glue the wood board on top of the rectangle. And we are done! I love how this riser turned out. I love that it's all wood and it's perfect for displaying fall decor or any decor. Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. Invest in yourself and your personal growth. From cooking to gardening, decorating, or painting, you can find classes that will match your interest. I've always loved photography, and one of the classes that I took and really enjoyed was Fundamentals of DSLR Photography, taught by photographer Justin Bridges. His class was very informative and inspiring. The lessons were very easy to follow, from helping me understand my DSLR camera to balancing exposure, as well as tips and tricks on editing. He definitely made my camera less intimidating and motivated me to go beyond that auto setting. And one of the many wonderful things about Skillshare is that the videos are ad-free, so there are no interruptions. They have new premium classes launch each week, so there's always something new to discover. And right now, the first 1,000 people to use the link below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. For the next DIY, I'm going to make a window planter box. I will need 6 5-gallon paint stir sticks and 2 1/4-inch square dowels. I bought these paint sticks at Home Depot. They were about $1.48 for a pack of 3. I trimmed them down to the following length. I'm going to form a frame with the paint sticks, so I lay the 2 largest paint sticks down vertically and parallel to each other. I apply glue on the ends of an 8.5 inch and I place that horizontally on top between the large paint sticks. To make the grids, I take a dowel, apply glue on the ends, and place that vertically in the center. Then I apply glue on the ends of another 8.5 inch, and I place that horizontally down just underneath the dowel, making sure the dowel is snug. Then I take another dowel and I measure and mark it to complete the horizontal grid. And this will be cut in 2 pieces and will be glued on either side of the vertical dowel. Now it's always better to go slightly longer than shorter because you can always sand it down if needed. I glue it down and this fits perfectly. Once dried, I turn it over. I do this with the back side up so that when completed, the glue joints in the front will be leveled. You can reinforce the joints of the paint sticks with a staple gun, but this felt pretty sturdy so I didn't feel the need to. To make the flower box, I glue 2 of the remaining wood side by side. Then I apply glue on one side of that and adhere the last wood to that, making sure it's upright. And this will be the front. You can paint or stain to your style. I'm going to use some sample paint that I had. It's from Glidden in the shade Sea Frost. It looks like a very light grayish white shade. I got this at Home Depot a few months ago, and I believe the sample cost about $5. I use a chip brush to paint that on. I do want to see some of the wood underneath, but instead of sanding, I'm going to let the brush do the distressing. So in the areas where I want it to look a little weathered, I lightly brush over the wood, letting the tip of the bristles do the distressing. Once everything has been painted and dried, I apply some glue on the bottom edge like so. I stand the window up and push the base towards it. To make sure it dries at a 90-degree angle, I place a wood block behind it. I use a couple more square dowels to make the size of the flower box, and I'm going to put 2 on each side. The dowels are balsa wood. I bought it on Amazon. It was a pack of 60 for $10.99. It was quite inexpensive, but cutting them can be a little tricky. Balsa is hardwood, but it's very light and not dense at all, so using scissors or even miter shears can sometimes distort the ends because the wood is soft. So I find that scoring it a couple times all around and then slicing it with a utility knife gives it a nice clean cut. I love how adorable this window flower box turned out. You can place succulents, flowers, fall decor, anything you want, and you can even leave it up all year round. For the final DIY, I'm going to be making a standing frame, and I'm going to use the wood on this hanging wall shelf. I'll also need 3 12-inch dowels, which are 1/4 inch thick. I bought a pack of fall words from Michael's. It was only a few dollars with a 20% off coupon. And I'm going to use the word blessed on this project. For one of the dowels, I'm going to trim it down so that I have 2 at 4.5 inches. Before I paint the wood, I fill in the holes. I'm going to paint the wood in the shade French Linen from Hello Hobby, which will give it a neutral look and can be kept up year-round. But you certainly can paint or stain the wood whatever color you prefer. I'll also be applying Waverly Antique Wax on the dowels and painting the word white. I start with the dowels. I apply the wax with a damp cloth. Then I paint the word white. I do want some of the wood underneath showing through, so I just brush that on here and there, leaving some areas not completely covered. I position the dowels in a rectangle on the wood before I place them down just inside the edge of the wood plank like so. Then I glue them down. I apply glue behind the word and I place that in the center. You can lean this or glue some jute cord behind it, but I want this one to stand. To make a little stand, you will need 4 tumbling tower blocks and 2 craft cubes, and I paint them to match the sign. I glue 2 blocks together and I make 2 sets. Then I apply glue on the bottom of the sign where I want the blocks to go. I place the sign on top and then I glue a cube on the back, which will help prop up the sign. You can also glue down the cube first and then apply glue on the cube and the block and then place the sign down. And this sign is done. I love how simple and neutral this sign turned out. Thanks again to Skillshare. Make sure to take advantage of their special offer. The link to the free trial will be in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye!